Hey y'all, guess what? It's Monday. It's 8:30, so you know what that means. It means it's time for Conversations with Teresa. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in, jumping on in here, checking things out. I am ridiculously excited to be able to be here with you again. We get a chance to be introduced to a really great friend of mine, Alisa Hunter. And I cannot wait for you guys to get some incredible knowledge from her. So we're going to go ahead and bring her on in, but she is a phenomenal woman in the community, but she has so much to give us tonight and every other night to be honest. So let's go ahead and welcome my really great friend Alisa Hunter in the house. Woo! Alisa is here. Yay! Rah, rah, all that great stuff. Alisa, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I super appreciate you. Thank you for being on.
Thank you so much. I'm excited and honored to be here. Thank you, Teresa.
Good deal. Good deal. So listen, as custom, I get a chance to brag on you for a little bit. I am so looking forward to everyone being able to hear. Well, I'm going to read it, right? Exactly your bio, but then you're going to tell us in your own words what it is that you do, because what you do it so well. All right. So I'm gonna brag on you for just a minute. All right.
Thanks.
All right, here we go. So, Alisa Hunter is okay. Let me start again. Alisa Hunter is passionate about serving, advocating, and supporting others living out their dreams and potential. Alisa achieved a master's degree in mental health counseling. Thank you so much. And has over 20 years of experience in human services, mental health services, program development, and school based partnerships. Her career has most recently focused on program leadership, management, training, facilitating, coaching, and racial equity in work. Alisa launched Legacy Coaching and Consulting, LCC, which embodies her experience and heart to service and and pairing interpersonal connection with strategy. Alisa, alone, like if we just took one of those things alone, we would say thank you, because coming from our community and every other community, in all honesty, we need each one of those things. So I just want to applaud you. Thank you so much for going in and getting the education so that your community can be served well. So with that, I know I read all of that great stuff. I'd love for you to tell us in your own words, what do you do?
Wow. So honestly, I just see what I do as serving, right?
Mhm.
Helping people to live out their potential, their dreams, and be the best version of them that they can be. In a nutshell, all of those things equate to that. I just want to help you be your best, live your best, be satisfied, be happy, enjoy what you're
Mhm.
doing. Use your gifts and talents. That's what I try to do.
Right. Now, you get a chance to do that through, giving all your different experiences with strategy. And sometimes, like when I think about strategy, sometimes I think about like I'm dating myself, like battleship, like that thing is just like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta think this coordinates and and all of this stuff, right? I might be making a bigger deal about it, but but that's sometimes what I think about. And then so when I think about making goals, when I think about me making goals, sometimes it's just like a checkbox,
Mhm.
right? It's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna start going to the gym. Check. I'm gonna lose 10 pounds. Check. I don't know how many times I put that down there. Or right?
Right,
But it's just a check. A lot of times it's just a check.
right.
But you're bringing strategy into it. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about that? What makes your program that you've developed so special?
Yeah. Thank you, T. And I think about Battleship. I used to like Battleship.
You
When I
ever
think
learn how
about
to play it?
I think about Battleship, right? One of the challenges with Battleship is that you're guessing, right? You're trying to employ some strategy, but you're guessing. You're blind. You don't know where the
Ah,
opponent's pieces are. So you're trying to land. You're trying to hit. And when I think about strategy, while it sounds so big, it may be so complicated. We employ strategy all the time in our lives, right? And I think
mhm,
when we maybe fail in reaching a goal, or we don't have the conviction about the goal, or let's say the stamina around the goal, is because we haven't really mapped it out. So I think about,
mhm,
we're approaching the end of the year, New Year's resolutions coming up, 10 pounds. So is it enough to say I'm going to lose 10 pounds? Because 10 pounds is like, it's not like I think it and then it comes. Like, you have to have a plan. So strategy is just a plan. And when I think about what's important about strategy, is a plan that works for you, right? The strategy that
mm,
works for me is my strategy, my plan based on who I am as an individual. Strategy is about what works for you. And one of the things that I've learned over time is that you can always update, remix, revamp your strategy. If you employ a strategy and it doesn't work, change the strategy. Like, it doesn't mean throw strategy away. It doesn't
right, right.
try to use that strategy. If it's not working, let's revamp the strategy.
Hmm. And I think oftentimes we can get caught up, well, that didn't work. So we just kind of throw our hands up
Yes.
and stop, right?
Yes.
But at least with the strategy, my I'm assuming that with the strategy, you got plan A, plan B, plan C, you pivot, right?
Right.
So that is amazing. Thank you so much.
You're
So I
welcome.
wondered if you could give us a few examples, like some scenarios that you've been able to help, whether it's individuals or whether it's organizations, but just some ways that you've applied your program with a strategic goal setting, goal achievement.
Mhm.
And just give us an idea of what we can be looking at. What kind of things can we aspire to?
Yeah. So, thank you, Teresa, for that. When I think about applying strategy, it is not necessarily to a problem, to a goal, right? A situation. It's really understanding what that goal and situation is clearly, right? And so I think about a community group that I'm helping. They're volunteer based, and they have all of the heart in the world to do. And I talk about this a lot for people who know me: desire versus capacity. Desire is something you want to do, capacity is a thing you actually can do. Capacity is based on how much time you have, how much skill you have, how much energy you have. So, capacity is all of the resources that you can put in to realize your desire. And what the reality is that our desire can often outweigh our capacity. And so let's take
Mm,
real look at that, right? And so not being idealistic, or like, if I just want it enough, I can do it. That's not how things work in real
right,
life. We've gotten older.
right.
We've seen, like, desire, is not enough. And so with this group, it's okay. What are the actual needs that you have? All right, your leadership structure, which used to work, is not working now.
Okay.
And so let's honor the leadership structure that was there. Let's acknowledge it for what it was, and let's recognize we're in a different place, so we need something different now. So based on who is here now, based on the skills, the talents, and the time that people have, who needs to be in what position doing what. And
Right.
also, the thing, when you think about strategy around goals, these aren't things that are disconnected from our heart. So it's hard to say, like you need to, like, we got to let that thing go because it's not working. That's hard.
Mhm.
It pulls on the
It
heartstring.
really is. You're right. You're right.
And I think about
Absolutely.
even the 10-pound example, T, like, the heart might be there, and what's the strategy behind it? Like, the desire is not enough. And even like I think about where this community group is at versus now, like the weight loss example, what I
Mm-hmm.
could do when I was 20 to lose weight, I can try those same things now, 40
Right.
plus. They just don't work the same.
Why is that? Man.
Things change, you know, things change. And so when I think about like being strategic around goals, is one, having clarity around goals. When things are vague, we don't really understand them. We don't know how to get
Right.
to them. And even within goals, there's goals. So having clarity, understanding what you want and what you have the capacity to do. And something else that my people know I say is that perfect is the enemy of good. And so it's
Mm,
not throwing things away just because they can't be perfect. It's not all or nothing. But even if I can't achieve perfection, what's the good outcome? What's still like, if I can't do five,
mm,
is 10? I mean, if I can't do 10, is five still good? If I can't work out every day, is 2 or 3 days still good? Like, and so
wow.
it's not, hopefully not living in extremes, but chipping away. And something I was even talking to my daughter about this is the patience required to really achieve
Right.
what you want. And I am not a patient person. And so it really takes patience, perseverance, persistence, which is why it's important for you to have people around you to speak life into your dreams, your goals, and your situation,
Mm,
because it's easy to give up, lose stamina, lose sight, and resort to what is comfortable. Even if you don't
right.
like it, it's what you know. And I'm sorry if I've gone on
Right.
for too long, but I think
No,
about
no, no.
the goal achievement.
Yeah. And I mean, you hit on so many different things. It's I think what you said was what did you say? Perfect is the enemy of good or something. What did you
Yes,
say?
yep. Yes, that's what I said.
So, and I can totally relate to that, because again, that's that moment that you might want to throw your hands up and be like, oh, I didn't make it. I said I was going to do this by this time, or whatever, or that didn't work. I tried having a shake a day, but I'm still hungry, right? But then there's that capacity. I'm probably not giving myself enough nutrients or enough calories, or something like that. And then you had mentioned something else. Sometimes there's a goal within a goal,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to really think about and just be clear as to what it is that we're trying to do, so that we can really get to that thing and be successful in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that you have your own examples of times where you're just like, okay, here's where I'm starting off. Here's where this didn't go well. And now, but like you said, but is it good? Is it
Mm-hmm.
good? Because losing 2 pounds is better than gaining 2 pounds. I'm just saying.
Both
Right.
sounds good. Like, yes. Yes.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. There you go. So let me see. There was another question that I was going to ask you. Um, and you gave us some examples about, how we can do it, but simple things. Like I think about, I used to be that person who would set a goal, or I wouldn't set a goal. Actually, I'd be like, nope, I'm not setting any goals. I'm just gonna. I remember one year, for my New Year's resolution was that I'm not making any New Year's resolutions. How about that, right? and a lot of it came from fear of failure. Most of it came from fear of failure, and
Mm-hmm.
some of it just came from I don't feel like it. Right? How do you take someone who's there in that state of being and help them with the goal of I don't know, I don't want to keep saying losing weight, but maybe it is finding a better job,
Mm-hmm.
or coming out of a difficult relationship, or whatever the example is. But how do you take someone from I'm not trying to set no goals
Mm-hmm.
to okay, let's do a 1-2 step.
Right. Right. So when I think about that example, I think about the why. And you started to speak to that. Why don't you want to set a goal? Like you desired this thing perhaps, or you don't want to fully acknowledge your desire for it, or you see
Mhm.
that it would be good for you, the question is why? Why don't you want to go after it? Like, what
Yeah.
is stopping you from pursuing that goal? And
Mhm.
usually, when you start to pick things apart, there's so much underneath that, and what seems like obstinance or refusal, there's there's all kind of things underneath it: hurts, disappointments, fears, concerns,
Mhm.
just being plain old tired. Like, so
Mhm.
there's all of these things. Let's talk about the why, right? And
Mhm.
like, and also, if you want this thing, like, how bad do you want it? Does your discomfort outweigh your desire, or does your desire outweigh your discomfort? Because some things,
Mm.
we have we have limited capacity, and so we should pick and choose what we put our energy into, right? And so
Right.
something's really a priority, right? If we're able to ascertain, like, this is really a priority and these are my barriers to really going after it, then we can start to address the barriers. And a lot
Mm.
of barriers are not necessarily based on reality, right? They're based on our perception of reality, they're based
That's
on
right.
past, they're based on internal voices that tell us things. And none of those things, I mean, in feelings, I'm anybody who knows me knows I feel a lot, right? And coming to terms with, while emotions, your feelings are real, they're not facts. Because as a woman, T, I'm sure you can relate to, I can literally be feeling one way and 5 minutes later feel the complete opposite. What's happened in 5 minutes?
Mhm.
Did anything catastrophic happen? No. So what's that mean? Something's going on within me. So let's talk about why you don't want to do that thing. Like,
Yeah.
what's really in your way? What's really blocking you? And then let's hone in on that area, or those areas, and start to really dissect and pick those apart and replace
Mhm.
those with truth and with strategy around how you get what you need and
Right.
maintain your resources to keep you fueled, motivated, and going in that direction.
Excellently put. Thank you so much. I want to just acknowledge Chris Wong uh, made a comment and he said, I love that concept of acknowledging that desire can oftentimes outweigh capacity. It reminds me of a quote: you can do anything, but you can't do everything.
This is a
And
friend of mine. Thank you, Chris, for joining.
all right. Well, thank you, Chris, for joining. But it is so true that that capacity, because my little funny is that every almost every Thanksgiving, this has nothing to do with our show, but almost right before every Thanksgiving, I have these lofty ideas. I am going to paint the entire house inside and out. I am going to refurbish this furniture. I am like, I can't even tell you in my
Mhm.
head all these different things that came. And then for a second, I was just like, I'm never going to get all that done. And then I realized, come on now, what was I thinking? Right. And so, my husband's always like, he just shakes his head. He's like, stop trying to move refrigerators, Teresa, but that's what we try to do. We try to do like these incredible things, and it's just not within what we can do. So, but
Mhm.
you're absolutely right about that. So,
And T,
um,
can I just
yes,
comment on that? I think even with that example, you realize what's important. Like, is it the food? Like, all right, we're gonna have food. Like, that's where what is actually important. Like,
right.
not that there's no dust bunnies, not that the paint is
Yeah,
perfect.
there was a little. No, I'm just.
Like I said, but in a perfect world, there'd be no dust bunnies, right? And so, what is actually the number one priority and goal in a situation? And as
Right.
you kind of strip away and you see the reality of capacity, the hope is that the true diamond in the situation, the actual goal, is what is pursued and achieved.
Mm. And even just saying that, I think about, one of the pillars that I like to talk about on this show is just really about communicating and effectively communicating. And when we don't talk about these things, then it really is hands up in the air, right? Let's just like, oh, I can't do it. But we don't always know, or a lot of times we have to be reminded that pivoting is not a bad thing. That perfect is, you don't have to be perfect, but it could be good, like all these different things that you
Right.
said. But if there's no one telling us those things, because, and you had mentioned before, we have this chatter that's in our head, and usually that chatter is pretty negative, right? We're communicating with our head, and that's not always a good place to be, not always, right?
Right.
But we need people around us to really, I think you've said it before, just to be a cheerleader, right? And just to be able to say positive things, or to remind you of how great you are, or that you did good. No, you weren't perfect, but you did good,
Mhm.
right? And so all of those things are super, super important. And again, just really reminding people, bringing me back to even why I started this, was really just about being able to communicate these type of things
Right.
so that we can be successful in our life, in our personal as well as our professional life. So I appreciate you sharing all of those wise tips and sayings. So I am sure that at different points in our lives, we come across goals that we can achieve,
Mhm.
right? But then there are certain things that come about and they just seem almost impossible. We just don't even know where to start
Mhm.
and where to begin. So I'm wondering if you could tell us, when we get stuck and when we just don't have a plan or a strategy, we just don't know where to start, where can we go to be able to get the services that you provide?
So this is my plug for Legacy Coaching and Consulting. Thank you,
Come on
Teresa.
now.
So you can reach me. The web address is the legacy c the letter c .com, and that's my website. So you can. Oh, thank you
I think you
all for putting it on the little banner at the bottom.
there you go.
And so yeah, like there's on on my webpage, you can reach out. There's ways to communicate with me there, and fairly easy to reach. Just reach out. We can definitely have a conversation and talk about how I can be of support and part of your team to cheer you on and support you in achieving your goals.
Excellent, excellent. And just to be clear, are you working coaching just individuals, or do you do groups as well?
I do individual, groups, teams, workshops, trainings, anything of that sort. Supervisor, executive coaching, all of that. Hmm.
That is excellent, and it's so needed. I often think about just this service. We don't, again, we're not talking about it, and sometimes we're not talking about it because we can't put a dollar amount on it, right? We can't say this is worth, you know, $500,000 for our company, or this is worth my time in my life. Sometimes we can't give a value to it, but we know that it's needed because, again, every year people are making New Year's resolutions, and by January 18th, it's, like, yeah, that didn't work out. So we know it is very clear that what you offer is something that is incredibly needed. And I think if we talk about it some more and more, that people will just recognize, like, okay, I don't have to do this alone.
Hmm.
I have LCC to go to. I have Alisa Hunter to go to. That's what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for those who are listening. And even if those who are listening may not need this, you probably know somebody who does right now. And there's probably going to be a time that you will need this. Am I
Hmm.
right?
Yes. And I would say, one, doctors even should have their own physician. Nobody heals themselves, right?
Come on now.
Right. And I think about also, I just saw Kayla, my daughter,
I saw that.
distracted me. Um, I think about also just having somebody to bounce things off of, somebody who is just there to listen to you. We all need that, and so it for for us to say like, no, we don't need anybody, we can handle ourselves. It's just not the way we approach life, and I think we know that, and it's making ourselves, our needs a priority.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Excellent. Hi, Kiki. Just saying hi. So very good stuff. So again, and I love that mug. Can you put it up again? Let's do this.
Let's do
Let's do this. Let's go to LCC. Let's make this happen. And while I have you guys here, I also just want to not only thank you for just your time and your energy. I always appreciate it. We all need some cheerleading. We all need some encouragement. And this is the area, that strategy. I know that I need that strategy and I appreciate it. And I also, you talked about a shameless plug. I'm going to do a shameless plug too, because this is Conversations with Teresa. So let's conversate about one other thing. I definitely just want to let you guys know, if you don't know, now you know. One of the things that I get a chance to do as well is to provide coaching and confidence, particularly in confidence. There's a lot of different life coaching strategies, but one of the things that I realized was that we lack confidence in various areas, some of the same things, whether it's work, relationships, personal, things of that nature. But I have a coaching program called Unshakable Confidence. I'd really love for you guys to check that out. You can look on the website. If you made it this far, then you can go a little bit farther. And just so you know, just what's going down the air, check out Teresa's Black Friday offer at www.unshakableconfidencecoaching.com, just in case y'all didn't see that. Thank you, Carl. But absolutely, I think that I know that there's so many different areas that we can grow in. I know 2024 is about to come. We don't have to wait until the new year. We can do this stuff right now. Why wait? Right? Why wait? So let's take advantage of growing, of excelling, of being excited about our next step. Let's get some strategies in place. Let's set some clear goals. Let's be confident. Let's do this. Just like the mug said, let's do this. So, Alisa, thank you so much for being on. My friends, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And Conversations with Teresa. Come back next Monday. We'll like, share, what else? Like, share, click. Do what you know how to do. You know how to do this. Y'all know how to do this. All right, you guys, have an amazing rest of the week, and we will see you back here next Monday at 8:30. Peace out, y'all.